Hello, welcome to Diamond Life Ministries. My name is Carrie Ann Colleen, and I am here to share new earth, new human, new paradigm information that is going to help support you for the massive shift that is underway, where it is the great wake up that God is really trying to speak to us and get our attention, that it is time to choose a new way. And I am the new way. I am a leader. I am leading through prophecy. I am learning through experience of having gone through a paradigm shift ahead of the wave of awakening that is happening right now. And I am here to share through my Diamond Life Ministries the new word of God. Yes, the new word of God. And the new word of God has been given to women, the wisdom that exists inside of women's hearts. So, a little bit about the history of the Diamond Life Ministries is going to begin on my birthday, when I was born. And that is when the prophecy that I am was birthed into the world. And I was obviously birthed into the paradigm, right? The old paradigm. And all the challenges that existed in the old paradigm, including forgetting who I was, not living my truth, suffering with stress, living in what I call a white knuckle life, where there was stress upon stress, having a broken heart from past trauma, living with self-doubt, living with lack of self-worth, all those wonderful things that we get to experience as men and women. I'm speaking to my brothers and sisters here that have really caught up to us, as well as completely bypassing paying attention to our hearts and following our internal guidance system, and really kind of just ending up in a place where we look around and we're like, how did that happen? How did I get here? And understanding that here is actually nowhere, right? You end up saying, wow, that college education, that marriage, or how I've been parenting, it really didn't work. Well, if you know anything about the paradigm, that schools have been, public education, even Montessori schools, because my kid went to Montessori, it's all part of a system that is meant to put you into either, an elite category where there's a caste system of money and success and this big house and that big house. And basically all of that is just complete BS. What we've been missing as human beings is the true connection to ourselves and the fact that we are our own gods. If you don't know this already, then this is going to be an amazing opportunity for you to listen to my story of how I discovered that there was no going back. There was no being the person that I used to be, that was, part of a social system that was completely corrupt and disruptive to internal harmony, power, and the wisdom that actually existed inside of me. So, I had a coming to God moment in my life where I was given this choice. Hey, wake up or die. It was that simple. But I didn't just wake up and be like, yeah, I'm like awake to see what's going on in the world. I woke up and I created a new world. I created a new world. I created a new life that was based on the truth of who I was. And I thought it was really powerful that I decided, and actually God chose me to share the journey so that I could inspire other people who have really come to a moment in their life where they're like, wait a minute, there's something bigger out there. There's more I'm meant to experience. I'm supposed to feel really good. I'm supposed to have health, and I'm supposed to have love, and I'm supposed to be a happy human being. And I also have a purpose. I'm here to fulfill something that's greater than me. And that excites me. So I want to share with you a run, because I'm a runner, I'm an athlete. I've always been, really driven by goals, right? Setting goals for myself and achieving goals and being on a journey of deep self-discovery and improvement and empowerment. I was on this long run about 8 years ago, maybe 9, about 7 years ago. And I had this God started speaking to me. God started speaking to me and said, "You're a minister." And I said, "Okay, I am. I'm a minister." Here I am at mile like 7 and I'm like about to keel over. I'm a minister. And then I heard Diamond Life Ministries. That's your ministry. And I was like, okay, great. I had been activated in the Diamond Code. I had been on the pathway of evolutionary consciousness for a few years. I had been getting galactic downloads. I had been turning on the internal circuitry of the truth of who I was. So this type of language was not foreign to me. It meant that I was being given another choice. Okay. So for that 6 months, I really stepped in and I embodied the Diamond Life Ministries. I started doing Sunday messages, and then I got scared. I'll tell you, I got scared. I got scared of being public. I got scared of what was moving through me. I got scared that people wouldn't believe me, that everything that I had been through in the consciousness and the awareness and how God used me and is continuing to use me to deliver a very important, life-changing, evolutionary changing message, that I started to hold it back. I put it back inside of me. It's not that I wasn't doing other things. It's that I was not ready or prepared to stand in the power that I had been given. And so through this 6 months where I opened the doors to my Diamond Life ministry, I would take these long walks in the woods, and these long walks or runs were my time to connect with nature and connect with myself. I was living in the suburbs. I was living also, on the coast of New England, beautiful home. I was able to connect to all the powerful energy of the Atlantic Ocean. I was downloading and activated what I call the love codes, and those are the divine love codes. And I was doing a lot of very, very deep energy and frequency work for New Earth leadership. And I remember being in the woods, and I saw energetically, I saw this massive cross, and I saw Jesus on the cross. And I saw that I was releasing the sacrifice and the sin and the pain of humanity, and that I was clearing that. I was going through a very, very deep and powerful healing for a broken heart. I had lost everything. I did not have much money at all. I had lost my children in a divorce. And it was a heartbreaking time for me. But yet in that heartbreaking time, I was being completely rebuilt, and I was being completely rebuilt from the inside out. And I had been given this prophecy for the moment that I was in, where I had lost everything that I thought was real, and only to discover that none of it was actually real. It was all an attachment. It was all created in the old paradigm, and that I had to get ready to lead the paradigm shift. So this was one of many walks I had in the woods where, I saw this cross, and I said, okay, well, there gets to be a new form of religion, and that religion would actually be an internal connection to source, and that we are our own gods. But I wasn't really ready to like stand in that because I still had a lot of fear and I had a lot of doubt that that actually was true. So I had to prove it. And I had to prove it over and over and over and over again that we have the power within us to create our own reality. And then I had to develop the body of work to substantiate that that actually worked. So, this type of stuff you can't be a phony at. I'll just say that. Like you cannot be a phony or a poser. You have to have your stuff together if you're going to come on and share the stuff that you've been through, because it has to come from truth. So, the other thing that happened to me during these walks was I saw some very powerful religious figures, Catholic leaders, hand me a scroll. And it was like a passing of the guards. It was a passing of a guards from an old religion that was based on being separated from God and thinking that God was outside of us, to understanding that the wisdom of God, which was actually left out of the Bible, the wisdom is the feminine, and that feminine leadership would be the leadership that would give life back into the human self that through time had been void. Okay. In other words, I'm going to share this. The paradigm that we have been living in has made us empty on the inside. It's confused us. It has led us in the wrong direction. It has disrupted families. It has cut us off from our truest sense of self. And what's happening right now is God is coming in and saying, hey, wake up. You're doing it the wrong way. And that was in my life what happened to me. It was like, boom, wake up. You're doing it the wrong way. You're following the wrong leadership. You're following daily. You're doing things that are completely taking you away from the direction that you want, that God needs you to be going in, so that you can be provided with everything that you require. Not only that, I'm going to share more about how I was handed the keys to God's abundance, and this is infinite money. This is also infinite love. This is heaven on earth. We are not meant to be separated from anything that we desire. But if you're living in the old paradigm, and if you're behaving in the old paradigm, and if you are buying into the old paradigm, you are definitely blocking yourself from the things that you desire. Okay. And it is my job to help you out of that. It is my job to help you out of that. And so in my docu-series, my docu-video series, I'm going to be doing 40 days and 40 nights to freeing humanity. All right. And so, I'm going to go back to the passing of the guard, right? The passing of the old leadership, where they had been talking about God and Jesus, and how Jesus saves, and how God is outside of us, to understanding that we are it. And it's extremely important that we understand that we are it. There is no saving. There is no saving. There is that you must save yourself. Okay, that's what I learned is like, nobody's going to come and save you. You must save yourself. And that's only 10%. That the consciousness of God that exists in the infinite, and that there is an abundance of this energy once you learn how to tap into it. And that is very important. It doesn't just come to you. Please understand that everything that is going on in the world has been to separate you from receiving what is meant to be yours. Okay. So my body of work is all about reconnecting you into that and teaching you how to get it all back. So imagine the desires that you have in your life are, number one, already fulfilled, and number two, that there's a pathway to them. But it's not. I want to separate here. I want to separate, and how you know right? If this is truly going to be something that you're going to create. Number one, God doesn't hand prophecies over to people who are desperate and needy. Okay, that's one major thing. God has put a prophecy in your heart to excite you, ignite you, and magnetize you to the future. So in general, I do not work with people who are desperate and needy and need someone to change their life. I work with people who are full of excitement for what they are born to do and just don't know how to unhook from the old paradigm, the old way of doing things. And they want to know how to, right? They also want to know, I want to create something that is so incredible in this lifetime. How do I get going with that? Those are the two factors. So I want to be super clear, desperate and needy. I'm not going to teach you how to make money if you're broke. Those are just not the things that I do. I believe that there are coaches out there and leaders out there for you, but that's not what Diamond Life Ministries is all about. Diamond Life Ministries is about taking what is already going really well in your life and blowing the doors off of it, right? And helping you create your own reality. How do I, what's my history and my experience with this type of stuff? Well, I am going to talk about wealth, and I'm going to talk about abundance, and I'm going to talk about love and joy and happiness and parenting. By the way, if you are a parent or a grandparent, you probably already understand that you can basically throw out anything that you used to, you can't be parenting from how you were parented. And parenting is changing every single day. Our kids are incredibly evolved. And, in my work, I've caught up, or possibly, yeah, I would say I've caught up to the frequency of my children, only because being behind them in human consciousness is such a detriment. They have been my greatest teachers and my greatest awakener to say, wow, mom, you're completely going in the wrong direction here. Like, this is the way the evolution is happening. This is where we need you to be. Not only awake, but like doing things, changing the world, changing the landscape of how life exists for the world. Okay. So I'm going to touch upon marriage because this is something that is so near and dear to my heart. I mean, my divorce taught me a huge, it was a huge wake-up call for me, because basically I was in a cookie cutter, asleep at the wheel, reality where there was no real true frequency of love. There was fun and there was good times, but there wasn't a sustainable, deep, intimate, powerful connection that continued to grow and grow and grow and grow. I believe that the state of marriage, there's two possibilities I believe that exist now. Number one is there's like an ego marriage, which was like, oh, you and me, we're just the same. We went to the same college, or we did this, or we did that. And those marriages, they're very challenging to keep together. I will say this. You can keep them together, but you're going to need to evolve your marriage, and your partnership is also going to need to, your partner is also going to need to choose an evolutionary pathway. I do this type of mentoring in my communities, where I show people how to open up hearts, break down heart walls, and evolve life within them so that they can create a better marriage. But I want to talk to you about what really excites me the most, which is when two souls who are destined to be together finally find each other because their hearts have evolved enough to create a really beautiful, long-lasting, evolutionary love that builds and creates in the new paradigm. I'm 48 years old when I'm recording this video, and I realized at age 40 or age 39, 38, that, hey, I have a dream to live. I remembered what it felt like to be with the love of my life. I remember what it felt like to be a leader. I remember what it felt like to be deeply fulfilled and to being a role model for my children and for the world. And it felt amazing to me. And that is what pulled me through the hard times. It was always knowing that inside of me, there was something big. And I felt it. And man, if you want to talk about want and you want to talk about need, I wanted it and I needed to fulfill what I came here to fulfill. So there's two different things: wanting and needing out of desperation because you have no hope, and being between that and being extremely hopeful about a future that you want to create, just not knowing how. Okay. So through my evolutionary work in the becoming the embodiment of what I call the God code, and being a pioneer and a steward of the new human consciousness. When I talk about new human consciousness, what I mean is that we are shifting our bodies, our minds, our hearts are shifting into being a God source creator, meaning we're creating from within us rather than from outside of us. When we create from outside of us, what happens is we get easily depleted and exhausted. When we are the source, we are expansive, we are ever knowing, we are dialed in, and we are ever evolving and changing and growing. So, that's a little bit of the history on the Diamond Life Ministries. What I'm here to do in the world is to change it. Another message that I got coming in today was things will continue to repeat. The patterns will continue to repeat until there is no choice. And at that point, there's going to be the choice point of either going to the light, right? Which is passing away, or becoming who you were born to become, which requires you to hold a frequency of light. It also requires you to be embodied in the essence of who you are, and which is a God source creator, and to be functioning, thinking, breathing, acting as if you are here to change the world. Okay. So welcome to Diamond Life Ministries. That is just a teeny tiny bit. Please join me for the 40 days and 40 nights to freedom for humanity. I'm going to be sharing a lot more about what I learned as I was, as I left a crumbling reality, what I gained in terms of wisdom, how I gained my abundance, how I was given the keys to the kingdom, how God passed me the baton and said, I trust you with my brothers and sisters. I trust you with the children of the earth, that you are going to pioneer and you are going to steward from a place of responsibility the future of our planet. I have taken part in what is called the transfer of wealth. I see that God is holding back massive, massive wealth, and that this wealth is being given as the frequencies of our hearts are shifting. I have been on the receiving end of this. It is real. It is true. We are in right now also a big, huge transfer of power. I shared how I was handed the scroll. I did not share that in a dream recently. I was handed the baton by God, and I saw that it would be in the future. And I know that that moment is now, where it was time for me to go. When I walked out the door yesterday to go for a walk with my husband, I heard, from this point forward, there can be no fear about who you are. I need you to share these messages. And so that is why I'm here. Follow me, stay with me. If you feel called, become part of my coaching community. I have elite coaching programs for the called. These programs are not for everybody. And if you feel aligned and you feel excited and you feel magnetized to the frequency field that I carry, the energy, you want to do more of the things that feel good to you. So stay here. This is where the hope is. This is where the future is. This is where the guiding light is for these very challenging times. All right, take care.